Hi folks, welcome back, and thanks so much for joining. So today we're going to today is project day, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this table right here for you. This is something that was about to head for the landfill, and I sidetracked it, and I use this in my lab. It's very durable. It's 1/4 inch thick plate glass. It's been tempered. This used to be a coffee table. So it's pretty tough stuff. Uh, Pardon the noise. But if I'm going to talk about glass, let me just dig down a little bit, just a bit, on recycling glass. And why I have these up here is because these are all glass, however they're made differently. This is soda lime glass, and these are tempered, and this is borosilicate glass, formulated to withstand heat and shock and some abuse. This is the only type of glass currently that can be recycled. This is the soda lime glass. It's thousands of years old, and this is pretty much it. This type of glass, these types, are not recycled currently, and the reason is because this type of glass, they can't be mixed. You can't mix glass together and separate it, and you can't remove what you've put in it once you've made this type of glass. So, which is unfortunate because glass is infinitely recyclable. Now what that means is that if you make this glass jar and you grind it up and you make it again, of course it's just as good. And you can do that over and over again an infinite number of times. Similar to plastic, believe it or not, plastic can also be infinitely recycled, but again, we don't often do that. It is downcycled into other products, such as a countertop or other products like cabinet doors I have seen recently, and they are promoted sustainability because they're using recycled plastic. So very quickly, let me go over that, the types of recycling. When you take anything and you grind it up and you mix it up and you put other stuff with it, then you have destroyed any chance of this or plastic from ever being recycled again. So when you make a countertop, when you make a kitchen cabinet door, you're actually downcycling glass because all you've done is delay the point where it goes to the landfill. Now let me set up the board for you real quick, and I'll show you just a little bit about that before we get started into making this. So bear with me, let me set up. I'll be right back. Alright, so let me show you what I'm talking about when it comes to recycling. And we won't spend a lot of time on this because this video is pretty much about making this, but I want to take time for you to understand a little bit about recycling and why I'm reclaiming this. We've all seen this symbol on products that can be recycled. And this is how recycling used to work. Someone would make a product. Well, let's take Coca-Cola. When I was a kid, Coca-Colas came in a glass, that green glass, so famous. So, and it was worth a nickel, which made kids of my generation very happy because it's how we got our spending money. We would definitely we would recycle those Coke bottles, and Coke would bring us a Coke, nice cold Coke. Okay, we'd drink it, and then we would take it and we would take it back to the store where it was collected at the store, and then when the Coke man came to bring fresh Coke, he would take the empty bottles back. That's how this works, but that's not how we do that these days. At best, what we do, and quite wastefully, it is a huge industry. this would work for just about every single thing that is manufactured in the world, where if we required people who made things to take back their trash and perform their own reuse and recycling system internally, that has been lost in common thought. But I think a time for resurgence is at hand, because here's what we do now. They'll make it, we'll consume it, we'll throw it in the recycling bin, where it's taken someplace to be sorted out in the different types of materials, and then those materials are sent back to another person that remakes this plastic or glass container, whatever, and then they sell it back to the company. It's a lot of steps. Now, between when the company brings you their product, okay, their truck is full and it goes back to the factory empty, and that is quite wasteful. And their trash, we toss into a landfill. So here's what happens now, for the most part. The company will make the product, we'll use the product, and then we dump it into the landfill. And for all intents and purposes, it's gone forever, out of reach of future generations. Something that could be recycled an infinite number of times, we simply toss it away. And it's the failure of the government that these things occur, because we need a government who's willing to stand with industry to help develop a system where they can take back their trash on their own and then produce their products. So packaging innovation sounds like a good start. Now, let's talk now about recycling, downcycling, and upcycling. Okay, we used to send our trash to the landfill, and China would actually buy our trash, and we would ship it to them in big boats, and they would make new products with it. They would downcycle plastics into other products that can be used one time, and then they end up in the trash. So, for instance, let me show you something real quick. Okay. Here we are. These used to be 2-liter soda bottles. And they could have been melted back down and made into 2-liter soda bottles an infinite number of times. I think you'll recognize the color. I think this is Canada Dry or some type of soda bottle here. But what China has done is taken those soda bottles and spun them into a yarn that covers this thing. And although this is reusable, this is actually a downcycle, because now there's cloth, there's metal, along with the plastic, and underneath there's some cardboard. This can never be remade into a 2-liter plastic bottle again. It has been downcycled. For instance, what you hear popular now is that they grind up glass or plastic and they make other products like countertops, cabinet doors, things like this. And that's actually downcycling. And what I mean by that is that we've saved nothing. They've made this, we've bought it, we've used it, okay, 100,000 times, but then in a few years it ends back up, and this will end up in the landfill anyway. We've recycled nothing. We've downcycled it, and it ends up in the landfill anyway. What I'm making today would be considered an upcycle. These are plate glass tabletops. They are still in their original form. I have not changed them in any way. I have added something to it so that it will spin. It will get as many uses as I can get out of them, but once it's done, it is still in its form and it can still be recycled infinite number of times. So this is an upcycle, and this is a downcycle. So I think you put up with me long enough talking about recycling. Let's get to making the table, okay? All right, so there we have it. A nice, very versatile. This is going to get a lot of use in my lab here. I'm very happy I made that today, and I'm very glad that I showed you folks how to make something like this and to upcycle something that quite often just ends up in the landfill. Now, I'd like to close with mentioning something about the t-shirt that I'm wearing today. This is Ecosia. They're a search engine. You just go to ecosia.org and you download a browser extension, and what it does is it replaces the default search engine for your web browser. And I've been using Ecosia for 10 years, and their search results are just as good and often better than any other search engine that you may have. And it's a simple thing to do. And what I love about Ecosia is the money that they make from these search results. They use it to plant trees, and they have planted millions worldwide. So check them out, and I hope you download them and start using them. And I want to thank you so much for joining. Bye-bye now.